Again, my friends, and you are my friends. It is Sunday, the 17th of July. We are creeping ever so closer to the start of another League One campaign. Only a couple of more weeks, and this will be a match reaction show. We had a transfer reaction show on our show yesterday. As you can see, courtesy of my little screen grab here, we have got the transfer talking town match reaction to Marcus Harness and Joe Pigott going in the opposite direction. As you can see, loads of different content on there. Get yourselves on there. I think it's fantastically first class. But if you haven't yet checked it out, please go and do so. Hit subscribe. There's a subscribe button. That's why I want to show the page. Subscribe up the top here or join up the top as well. If you can hear Toby in the background, he is still around, as you can see. For those that are original viewers of Talking Town, you'll know he used to be I used to be downstairs in and around him. I think what's just happened is the Lion show I was watching has just turned itself off, and he doesn't like blue screens, bless him. We'll bring somebody in just a second, but from today all pods are available on our podcast audio platform. So if you wanted that, I know many of you asked for it, it is now available. Right, we have got a crunching tackle to start you off with. So let's go ahead and bring in Richard Cruncher. The Cruncher, Richard Moss.
You're talking utter Kim.
Mr. Moss, a crunching tackle to start the show is always good. How are you?
This is a beauty, isn't it?
Do you
think it's better than last week? Do you think it's better than last week? Because last week's was a little bit of match fixing. I think this one takes it to another level. Let's just say.
I think it's absolutely outstanding.
Let me just set the scene. It is the Nigerian.
I've watched it a couple of times.
It's the Nigerian football Ogun State FA Cup final, Martin, between Remo Stars and Legibo United. Goes to extra time, goes to penalties. Roll VT.
Hang on then. This is good. I'll just warn you. If you're not, if you're listening on audio, head to YouTube at some point to check this out, because I promise you won't be disappointed.
So that's Lejebu scoring, right? He scores.
Yeah.
So this is Remo Stars. Watch his reaction. His head on his hands. I've just put the ball out for a throw-in. So apparently, Martin, they deliberately missed their first 3 penalties. And the goalkeeper deliberately stayed still because they are a mark of protest for unfair officiating. Again, it's always the officials who are at the heart of all these dodgy match fixing.
It's the actual hands that get me.
No.
It's the hands. It's the no, you've just cleared it.
I've not just put it over the crossbar. I've put it out for a throw in near the corner flag.
You've Damien delayed it, and then you're like, oh no, I've just narrowly missed the target.
Anyone in the chat, what is your worst ever town penalty miss that you've seen?
Oh, good.
So mine was Mark Brennan. We played Derby County. It was probably about 87, 88, Martin. Churchman's End, really muddy. He put the ball down and skewed it left-footed wide. Must have been about 3 yards wide of the post. That was probably my worst penalty that I've seen from a town player.
That's why I don't remember it. I think one of the worst penalties I've seen is probably that Marcus Stewart Sunderland penalty, to be honest with you. That was pretty...
Well, we had Marcus on, didn't we? And we talked about that, and I'm sure he missed it on purpose.
I mean, I wouldn't want to call... Yeah, well, possibly so. But I can't remember too many penalty misses. I'm not one for watching penalties. I have to sort of watch through my eyes.
Talking of Selena's got a shocking penalty if everyone goes to YouTube when he was at Swansea, because he tries to do the dink against West Brom. and it literally goes about 3 yards.
Ah, yeah, I see.
There's also the Pires one, Martin. Do you remember Pires and then Omri?
Yes, but they tried to roll it and be cocky and
sideways
yeah.
So,
Although I don't know if the official that day was technically in the wrong either. I think he got confused by it as well, if I remember. But I don't know. But either way, now my dog has stopped barking at the invisible man. I'll run through some comments because I feel more confident doing so. Max Fax tuning in from Australia. Big up, Max Fax. Give him a shout out.
What's the weather like down in Oz? Because it's absolutely boiling in the UK, Max. What is it like down in? I think he's in Melbourne, isn't he, Martin?
Yeah, I think so. One of those. Richard Chana didn't come. He came on the show yesterday. Richard didn't get to go yesterday, but watched some bits online. All it's done is make me look forward to the 30th.
What a great debut that was from Rich and James as well. Now, this is how easy it is, guys. Martin puts a link in the show. Click the link.
It's easy.
Come on. Have your say. Because nobody wants to hear from me all the time and Matt and you all the time.
Least of all me.
We want fresh faces and fresh voices on.
We do. Rob Holmes, the whole squad, got a good 90-minute run out yesterday in the heat, which is good. Stevens finds it hard to gauge friendlies. I'm sure it'll come up at some point, but Palace won some good stuff against some good players. Wimbledon sounded like total control. Mike D says, nice one for making all pods available for download. No, you asked for it. You get it. It wasn't just yourself who asked for it. Many of you did when that survey we did. So I thought, right, about time you pulled your finger out, Gov. Mike D, that's as good as Guion Edwards' free kick. Is that championship player Guion Edwards, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He is the most positive person I know. Some would call him the media mogul.
We've just lost the teenagers. It's absolutely embarrassing.
Matt Phillips. There he is. How are you?
When you're saying positive, we're talking COVID here, right?
No, you're always positive. You always bring in some positivity to
I tried
the
to.
skyline.
But I've been ill all week, everybody. I've been ill all week, as Martin revealed to the world yesterday.
I thought it's public knowledge. I don't know. I don't know what's secret these days.
I'm just going to sit here and chill and listen to you two, I think. But I'm here. I've made it.
You've made it. That's the most important
sick bed.
thing.
I mean, what a trooper he is, Martin.
Oh, I know. He's such a good lad like that, isn't he? Such a good lad. We're glad that you're with us. It's Brilliant. 5 degrees at home tonight, says Max Fax.
Ooh.
Wow.
Down in Oz.
Yeah. Moby says, whatever way you cut it, this team is going into the season in a much better place than last year. Someone hosed Matt down with sterile gel, says the fisherman.
Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it? Bless you. Right, let's start with the Palace friendly yesterday. Then a 4-2 defeat.
Yeah.
The team that kicked this off was Haladki, Dynasty, and Edmondson, Corey and Darber, Burns, Ball, Harper, Humphreys, Aluko, Penny, and Jackson. You both watched it. Yeah. I went out. I love Town.
I didn't watch all of it because I watched some of it and then I popped to Tesco's and then come back. So what I did see and my take of it was...
Go for it.
Corey and Darber, Matt. He struggled, didn't he?
Well, I watched all of it because I wasn't allowed out. So I watched all of it. He did. I mean, look, it was a really strong... I actually really enjoyed the game. I thought it was a really good game.
Yeah, good.
A little bit unlucky to go 3 down inside, half hour or whatever it was. But they had a strong team, as McKenna said in the post-match. Probably 4, 5, 6 of those players will start for Palace in the Premier League. Yeah, and Darber did struggle a little bit. There's nothing worse than players slipping over for a goal, is there?
No. So just to tell people at home that perhaps don't know, the Palace team was Goodman, Boateng, Ferguson, Watson, Decorah, Easy, Schlupp, Plange.
Yeah, he got Derby, didn't he? Got a hat-trick.
Benteke and Wilfred Zaha. So not the worst. Not the worst of players for Corey there, Crunchers, to come up again.
It shows, I think, guys. If you look at the first goal, Matt, I think it was Dominic Ball gave the ball away in a dangerous position. When you're playing that kind of opposition, you are going to get punished because you see the first 2 goals literally bang bang, weren't they? And it's in the net.
That's a great example. The first goal. So the ball comes to Ball, and he tries to let it run past him, doesn't he? And Jeffrey Schlupp, obviously quality player, just sees it from a mile off, nicks the ball from him, passes it through, and it's 1-0. And Indaba falls over, and it's 1-0. Corey looked out of his depth a little bit yesterday.
But it's good for him playing against that kind of caliber player. He's only going to learn, and sometimes you have to learn the hard way. And look, I don't read a lot into these friendly games. They're there just to get minutes, get the team sort of playing together. Will Corey be? I think Corey will get the cup games. You know, at the start of the season, I think like the Colchester game. I think we got some Papa John's trophy games. I think he'll play in them, but he's obviously behind. I'd say Burgess is probably the fourth centre-back mine. I know we spoke about it yesterday morning, and the fisherman didn't like it when you could change that, because he said, like, Matt, you could play Burgess on that left-hand side. But I said, well, what about Edmondson? Does Edmondson come in on that right-hand side instead of Donacien? Now, that was only, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but Martin says that Donacien will start the season. Martin doesn't think Donacien will end the season, Matt.
You don't think he'll end the season?
I don't. And I've seen the game back from yesterday. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it back, or parts of it and most of it.
Yeah.
Don't think anybody really, if we're sort of pulling out individual performances, can really come out with it with lots of credit. You could make an argument for a lot of players being out of their depth, including the gentleman we're sort of talking about there. I suppose
with Corey coming back with such high praise from Salford and Player of the Year trophy and all that, I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest, but I don't know, I just found wanting a little bit. Even the fourth goal where Zaha puts the ball into the box for that plunge to score his hat-trick. If you actually see it from the other camera angle, Corey's not even looking at the ball. He's talking to someone on his left.
Yeah.
It's just that is just like, that I would be expected to make that mistake, not professional. But, it's pre-season. He's finding his feet.
Newsflash, Matt. We scored from a set piece.
Don't count. Don't count.
Ball. Is that the President's ball is going to give us now around the box, around the penalty spot for a header? Maybe.
Possibly. And then as you say that, Louis Fenton comes in and says, I think our best midfield partnership is Morsey and Evans.
No chance. It's Morsey and Ball all day long, Louis.
Thing is, Louis not alone. Many people will make the argument for Lee Evans, and I could see why they would maybe go with Lee. He has got some good passing range, but I think Dom hasn't come to sit. And I'm doing what the ITFC admin team do now. I'm starting to say just Dom, Lee. No, I think Dominic Ball's come to.
Did say.
Yeah, it did. I tell you, Dids is a fantastic sign for Derby. He's going to rip. If he can stay fit, he'll be running.
Did you see who they're signing today? Did you see? I had a little text this morning. Who are they signing today?
Who they got now?
Roost.
Yeah.
No way. Well, from Rangers?
Yep.
I thought they was on a budget, these boys at Derby.
Oh, don't start me. If I speak, if I speak, I'm in trouble because they're all coming to play for free out of the love of football.
Yeah, that's what we've been told.
For the love of the game. You're
right. Defensively, no one really covered themselves in glory. Latke didn't look that good in goal. Corey looked out of his depth a little bit. Edmondson was caught wanting for the ball. Yeah. But look, we looked good going forward, though, I thought.
We did. Yeah. We did. We got a couple of goals. Obviously, one from the set piece. Yeah. I think when you play Premier League opposition, and we had the conversation in the WhatsApp group, didn't we? You want to be competitive. You want to get as much out of it as you can, which is competitiveness. And then I switched the focus sort of to Wimbledon straight away, because that's the team where you now need to be the dominant team. Yes. You've been dominated by the teams you should have been. I don't think at times yesterday we were as competitive, Rich, as we were as against West Ham or possibly even Arsenal at times. I don't know the Arsenal one, but certainly West Ham.
I think, look, we scored 2 goals. If you look at that front end of the pitch, like Matt was saying earlier, Kieran McKenna, he said probably 4 or 5 of them players are going to be starting in the Premier League on the first day of the season. Benteke, how much did he go for? 30, 40 million. Will Zaha, you got these players. We're not going to come up against these sort of caliber of players every week in League One. It's a good test.
Yes, absolutely.
We look good going forward. We look good going forward, Matt. I thought in that game it was Collins in the chat. Hope he's having a great time. Sonny Aluko, great goal. Just come back to him. Benny in the top corner. Yeah. So he's looking sharp. I know I said the other night. I don't think he'll be a starter, but I think he'll be off the bench, Martin, and he could have an influence there.
Humphreys looked good. Humphreys again.
Yeah, he name checked him, didn't he, Kieran, in his interview?
Yeah.
So
he had a little effort, just went wide.
But it's getting them minutes in. You're getting 90 minutes there. But what about Nick Hayes? He came on for about 5 minutes, and then he had to make a trek across London, Matt, to sit on the bench in the second game.
But so did another young player did that as well. I think
a couple of youngsters, weren't there?
Yeah.
Got on, but notable absence in both of them games was Kyle Edwards, Martin.
Again.
Yeah, but midweek we were hearing he's got a knock. They're resting him. I think I saw he would be involved this weekend, but obviously perhaps he's not recovered as quickly. Could be a loan spell. I've often said I'd loan him out. I don't know. We'll come to Marcus Harness and how that can sort of play in and affect in a second. But they did then trek across London. They played AFC Wimbledon. The team for that was Walton, Elmiz, Wolfenden, Burgess, Vincent Young, Evans and Morsey, Greg Lee, Connor Chaplin, Tyrese John Jules, and Frelly Ladapo.
Back for them, Martin, in that game.
I think so, yeah.
Elmiz playing right back, KVY playing right wing. Interesting.
We always said KVY had the potential to be a wing back, didn't we? Or that right wing role.
We did, but it's AFC.
Shall I bring it out again?
Will he get double figure games? That's the question.
That's what I meant. He's going to do double figure games.
Forget the goals. But it's AFC Wimbledon. It's League Two opposition.
Yeah.
This is now your turn to turn the screw, get some habits being formed, winning habits, the most important habit there is in football. And they did it. They came through it, confident, look comfortable at times. So I hear, so I see.
Are the goals online? The goals online for that?
Yeah, I think they're on. I think you can see them on YouTube. Not the greatest camera angle, if I'm honest, but Sam Morsey got one from 40 yards, lobbed the goalkeeper.
I was going to say he had one from distance. That's what I read. Nice.
Lots of conversation about Sam Morsey this morning on social media. I track.
Regarding
ability, but performances.
10 goals and 10 assists this season for Sam Morsey.
Who said that?
Callie.
Well, to be fair, he is one of our top players, so he needs to be leading the pack.
Well, mate, I wouldn't disagree with that if he's playing in that more advanced role that we saw towards the end of last season, where he actually did start scoring goals, but he was bought very much by Cook to be the sitter, really, wasn't he? But...
Well, yeah, so we think. So we'll see how that plays out. I think Dominic Ball will give him a lot more freedom to go and get involved more next year. I'm looking forward to seeing Dom Ball play.
I know what you're saying there, Martin, about winning habits. Now, it's important. I know Kieran says results don't mean nothing, but this is what we haven't done over the past X amount of years, guys. We haven't got that winning mentality, and this is what we need to harvest going into the season. If we're going to get promotion this season, you've got to get that winning mentality. Like I've said before, you need to win them games when you're not playing well. When you can dig out that result, you get a late goal. Look at Norwich. We spoke about them probably a few months back when Farker was there, Matt, when they were in the Championship. Look at the number of late goals that they scored. Not just them, but teams who win championships, teams who get promoted. Yeah. They know how to win. Even when they're not playing well, they'll score late goals and you get that momentum. And that's what we need, Martin, this season, starting from game 1 against Bolton. We need to get that mentality throughout the club, throughout the fan base, winning. I see
what I think will underline that, Rich. I think you're totally right. And what will underline that is finally getting the monkey off our back that is winning 3 games on the trot. They can do that in the first month. I think I would take down a bit of a marker. But, and then you've got, as you always say, rinse and repeat. You've got to do it again, haven't you? It's no good just doing it once or twice a season. If you're going to win the title, or you're going to be top 2 or whatever, you've got what they call in America, clutch wins.
Clutch wins, yeah, absolutely. Mike D, will we win 4 on the bounce? That's the question mark. James, if Ball sits, Morsey has the power to get forward. His quality all round. A good leader, Sam Morsey, great player. I want to see more from him in terms of stats, goals, assists.
5 goals in his career, Martin, is the most he's ever got in one season for Chesterfield.
Needs to be double that from if he's my number. If he's my player breaking into the box from midfield. But I think he's got the ability to do it. We need to see it now, and last year with the revolving door around him, next to him, Backinson to Harper at one point of the season to Lee Evans, it was just constantly a state of change. Where I think now we're sort of settling in with Ball and Evans, Matt. 2 players you can know.
It's not going to sit comfortable with Evans, is it?
Good. Nothing should sit comfortable with Ipswich Town anymore. Nothing. The days of coming to sit comfortable. They should hopefully be gone. You have come to sit and not sit, as the case is. You've come to play, Rich. You've come to be a part of a project, not come and sit and be a spectator.
You might see. We're probably going to go into what we think where Harness fits in a minute, but you might get certain games where he'll play Ball, Morsey, and Evans. You know,
Yeah.
he could do.
Could happen.
You know,
Ball does like to shoot from distance. I noticed in that game yesterday, not particularly accurately. Well, they had a couple of good efforts, but it was
He'll
good to see
catch
people
one.
taking long shots. Because another thing, we never score long shot goals, do we? From distance.
You've not had the caliber of player.
Tyreek against Charlton last day was probably the last one I can remember.
Yeah. And but I think the more you bring in big characters, big players, quality players, the quality improves, and you have that character, that strength of character to go and take a shot on from 30 yards, Rich, miss it, have the crowd go, "Way!" but actually do it again 5 minutes later because you've got that strength of character. Where some players hide, some hide.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of times they'll get the ball 30 yards out and they think, "Oh, easy sideways pass." Instead of going forward another 2 or 3 yards, it opens up. Have a shot. If you don't, like we said, if you don't shoot, you don't score, Martin.
Exactly. Don't buy the Euro Millions. You can't win the £191 million jackpot. As I keep telling my wife, I haven't won it yet. Hence why I'm sat here still. But if I ever am not sat here,
would you really want 191 million?
He wants a new computer after yesterday, after he got turned off by the little fingers.
I would love the issue of having 191 million to spend. You know, how am I going to spend this money? You know, generational wealth that is, Matt. That's my kids' not working. That's epic. Do you know what I mean? Imagine having a life where you grow up.
Actually, Richard Chandler in the chat says that Morsey, we've had this chat before. Morsey, best captain since Matt Holland. You're wrong, Richard.
Agree. Ooh.
Jason DeVos.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. All right, but he's in the conversation. I think of that ilk.
No, not yet.
Well, I think if Morsey ends up being the skipper that gets us back into the Championship, I think he'll surpass.
Yeah, but he was for me the moment he was injured and didn't quit.
DeVos was DeVos was a really good skipper. It helps Morsey plays in the same role as Holland, I suppose.
But last year, back end of the year, could have been so easy. Need to rest it. Need to rehab it. Need to look after
Jason, how many seasons was Jason DeVos at Town, Martin?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look at Wikipedia and just.
He's been around about 4 seasons. So how can you say that Morsey's better than Holland when DeVos was here for 4 years?
I like Richard bringing the big opinions early doors. Look, he's making his debut yesterday. Look at him bringing the axe. I like it. We need more of that.
Click the link if you've got one available for him. You can come and tell me why.
I will. DeVos was immense, says Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. He also thinks Flynn Downs wasn't Premier League quality. So, I mean, on the strength of opinions, perhaps he isn't the best to back you up. I don't know.
Oh.
We have to lean with DeVos because he's been on the show.
We do. Yes, we do. You're absolutely right. You can buy us Selena if we've got 191 million. Yeah, right. Yeah. I won't be asking for any updates today, gentlemen. We have got Hawks on tomorrow night's show, so I'll be saving the updates.
Oh, is he on?
He is, yes, 8:30 tomorrow. Him and George are
tune in for that
on the show. Yeah, that should be looking forward to. James Hobson, sorry. I think there could be goals from quite a few this year rather than focus on one forward. Aluko scoring a couple in pre-season too.
Yeah.
Now, somebody that wasn't involved yesterday, but we did speak about him, Marcus Harness, coming in to Portman Road. I saw a Portsmouth. I'm
Callie,
sure
you told me you were going to give us Sam Morsey in the summer, and he's still not appeared. So when he does come on the show, we can have that conversation with him.
I saw a Portsmouth journalist, and I think tweet something like he thought it was in the region of 750 with add-ons, but it's undisclosed. I don't know how accurate that is.
But I would say I'd guess at that because they bought him from Burton for undisclosed, potentially 800. So it's got to be around.
And you'd imagine the add-ons are either appearance-based or promotion-based. Just having a guess there. Yeah. But either way, Matt, you were on yesterday's show because you were a little ill. Tell us, what do you think before we get into the ways of the fit?
Why was it announced at like 11:05 at night?
Oh fuck! I don't know. I was going to bed.
Come on,
I was in boxers, man. I was in boxers.
I'll tell you what I think it was because he was about to sign with another club. And then they thought they had him in the bag.
Uzi and Holmat were in for him.
And then Up and one other, which I'm being told I'm not allowed to mention. But he was about to put pen to paper there and then hot-footed it back down to Portman Road because along came Checkbook FC. So, yeah, I thought that was a bit weird to announce that. But obviously that then snowballed into the Piggott deal. I think it's a great move. Really good move. We've paid a lot of money on wages, I'm told. Is there anything left in the biscuit tin for Selena? I don't know, But the fact is, our spending power's come back out again because we've beaten three Championship clubs, 2 of which we know is Hull and Swansea, and 1 other. Which
I don't think Mark Ashton's got a biscuit tin in his.
I'd like if you did. You really one of them old 80s ones.
Well, according to you, you got to pay. You got to pay for the biscuit tin first. Like, you know, there we go. Matt's just confirmed.
I'll tell everyone, if you haven't seen it, a real pivotal game for Harness was when they played against his old club Burton, where he used to sell programs and sweep the terraces as a young kid, I'm told. But he scored a hat trick on his return there for Portsmouth. They win 4-2, but in one of the behind closed friendlies, behind closed doors games. You can find that on YouTube. Burton 2, Portsmouth 4. Watch it. He scores a back heel from a corner, absolute quality goal, and then a lovely little sort of Cruyff-esque style turn and dink over the keeper. So he's going to bring a real little bit of finesse and class and creation, and he's got that speed. And I can only presume he's going on the right flank with Burns, is what I'm presuming. If we've got the 3 up front, is what I'm thinking. Although he can play, I think he played number 10 in that game against Burton and looked really sharp, and he can play on the left as well. So I think McKenna said yesterday he brings a utility option, which I think is always good. But then we saw that with Fraser, didn't we? They brought someone in and then they played him in the position he didn't really want to be in. But I think it's a great signing. And if you're Portsmouth, you're going to be gutted. You've lost Harness, you've got Piggott. And I know Gab was really good on the show yesterday, and he said, I think Piggott could come good. But then you'll take going from 2 goals and 22 appearances is a big step back into scoring 15, 16 goals again, I think, off the back of that season.
So how do you think that the jigsaw is going to fit? Before I ask Rich, how do you see, because you've got these players, you know, Marcus Harness has not arrived at Portman Road having, you know, potentially had Championship clubs at his door to sit and watch Connor Chaplin, Sonny Aluka and Wes Burns run around the football pitch.
Exactly. They ain't going to be, he ain't going to be sitting on the bench. He made a lot of bloody money. Like,
how's it fitting?
I think you're going to have probably, well, if we're going to go 3-4-3, I can only presume he's going to be on the right hand side of the front three of the depot, for argument's sake. He's going to be in the top, and behind him will sit Burns. But again, that makes us very right flank heavy again, and we saw that a lot last season, didn't we? It was all Burns. Now it could be all Burns and Harness. So somehow we've got to replicate that on the left. Now, whether or not the Leif Davis is that still alive at the moment? Having been out the league this week. It's not dead. It's not. He's an attacking left wing back at Leeds. Easily would be able to replicate what you're going to see on the right hand side on the left. Then whoever might go on the left. You could easily see Harness go on the left hand side, that 3. But I do think that right hand flank is going to be absolute fire with those 2 there.
Okay, Rich.
Well, see people in the chat saying Burns is not going to. He's going to be starting, not going to be starting because he looks off the pace. That's nonsense.
He's only been back give you
that, but it does give you that arrow now in the bow.
Oh, I get that, but come on, Wes Burns was player of the year last season. Martin, top scorer. Yeah, he might be a week. He had because look, he's been playing for Wales through the summer in them Nations League games. So yeah, he might be a week behind, but we do have to realise they're only friendlies, guys. Let's not read too much into some of these people's performances. It's
not a robot.
No,
it's probably not.
But he hasn't come on, had 4 assists and 8 goals. So people are obviously going, well, what's wrong with Wes Burns? You know, that's the level he set himself last year, which is good.
People read way too much into friendlies.
You say that, but the biggest thing Wes Burns has to do this year is replicate or have as good of a season.
I said that before on here when he got player of the year. Let's see if he can go again, you know, with the assists, with the goals. He's going to be a marked man, but flip that round, Matt. If he's a marked man, there's going to be space for other people. You know, if they're keeping an eye on Wes Burns, someone's going to have a little bit more space somewhere else. So, and Burns did play on the left-hand side for Wales. Could that be an option? You know, could we sometime? I'm not saying starting him there, but you could flip him over to the left. You know, we don't want to just be that plan A. Like Mike says before, we do need to have more than plan A. We need to have plan B, plan C. You know, so but in my team, I totally agree with you, Matt. I said yesterday, Harness starts on that sort of inside right with Chaplin probably on the left. They could interchange anyway, and then you've got whoever your striker is, you know, Ladapo probably, but
I think so.
Jackson's looked sharp. John Jules scored a goal yesterday, so
options. I like what Norman said here. 5 subs is a big reason for signing Harness. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
you can play. You can you can play with the formation a bit more, can't you, this season?
I'm still skeptical about that 5 subs. I still think it's not going to be as the land of sugar and honey as people think it's going to be. You know, you've got big squad, 5 subs.
You've only got 3 options. You've got 3 options to make subs, haven't you, during the game?
You have half time doesn't count as the start.
No, you can have half time and then 3 other times, can't you?
Yeah.
Interesting. Mike D messaged me, Martin. An interesting point about when Gab said yesterday about another creative player, and I tend to agree with Mike's point that it's not sometimes like we need another creative player. We need to get more people in the box. So last season, you had your striker, and when you're playing Chaplin and Selena, half the time they were too deep. So you need to get someone else. You're right, Mike. Yeah.
I'm sure.
We need to get more people in the box to score goals. If you've got more people in the box, obviously, look, you're going to have more chances to score goals. And I think that's what we need this season. And we need to spread the goals out, Matt. You know, there's Harness got 11 last season. Ladapo got 15. Chaplin got 11. Burns got 13. You know, if they can sort of replicate that this coming season, that's what we want. And maybe another striker in the door. And then Caden Jackson as well. Caden Jackson, he's the one who I think he might have a big season, Matt.
I hope so. Well, he was on fire, wasn't he, until he got the injury. But I mean, you said that last season, didn't you, Mine? You don't really need someone to score a dozen plus goals. Make sure the goals are spread around the side. I mean, maybe that is the thinking that they're going with.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Louis would go with 2 up front next season, so just better with 10 in behind. Max Fax, Chapman and Harness to sit behind the striker, slightly inverted with Burns and Lee, or another overlapping. Stephen Parry can see more goal scorers in the team.
How did he do yesterday, Lee? He
looked fairly steady. What I read,
and he'd done all right against West Ham, I'm told, and he featured.
Yeah, Penny didn't look great yesterday, did he, Matt?
Probably he kept getting the ball too much, didn't he? This is the issue. Everything was coming through him. Him and Ndaba. That was a bit of a weak side, really. But I still think like we need that one of them targets has to be a left-sided player now. Because like you said, Rich, Lee's always felt like he would be the backup option, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like that Leif Davis is obviously the one.
I've not seen him play. Greg Lee, I've not seen him. I seen him play last year for Morecambe against Town.
Yeah, I saw him for the game. Yeah,
had a good game, but I think it's hard for us to sit here and judge someone when we haven't really seen them on the pitch. And...
Yeah, certainly for Town. Yeah, but at the moment we just seem very weighted to the right, which was one of our bugbears last season. Everything was always on Burns' shoulders.
You can't be too exposed tactically, though, can you? That's the issue, you know. But I do think back, you know, when it mentioned Morsey, you mentioned players in the box. Something that Morsey didn't do enough of, but I want to see next year is runs past the number 10. You know, make the burst into the box past.
He'd done that under Kieran, didn't he? When he scored the goal, I think it was against Plymouth.
Enough. I want to see it more and more and more. And I think Don Ball coming in. Because you can do it, Morsey. I think with Dom coming in, who is very much a traditional, you know, sitter, protector, he can do it a lot more. And we can see then start to get more bodies into the box. Where does it leave, Carl? Before I bring in Stephen and then Richard for a second appearance of the campaign, love to see that. He might be coming with the Matt Holland shirt. I don't know, unconfirmed rumor. But before I bring either of those in, Carl Edwards, where does it leave the young midfielder? Because I said I'd loan him out after Needham, having seen Marcus Harness arrive, and with Selena still I'm definitely loaning Edwards out, because right now he is the odd man out in terms of the numbers. Matt, where do you see Edwards?
Oh, I said the other week I'd probably get rid of him. I've seen enough of him now. For me.
What in just intent? What, just get rid of him, not alone, sell him.
Yeah, he's too lightweight, and he tries hard, so I give him 100% for that. He does really try hard. Perhaps he was over trying. I don't know, but no goals, no crosses. I don't know. What do you always say, Martin? What have you done for me lately?
What have you done for me lately?
Much from him, you know. But I mean, look, one man's rubbish is another man's treasure. Look at Piggott. He's gone straight to Portsmouth. They're Cowley's happy to get him. So who knows?
The fans weren't happy. The club might have been delighted, but the fans were in between a gift galore.
I always say, look, Edwards didn't really make much of an impact last season. How much then of an improvement this season, off the back of hardly playing, does he need to make in order to get the assists, the goals, the impact in games? That's a really big ask, I think. But maybe I'm being overly harsh. Maybe alone is a good move for him. But at the same time, this is the season, isn't it? As you keep saying, Rich, this ain't the season where we want to be pissing about outside the top 6 or anything. This is the season we want to be getting promoted.
About players moving on, Matt. Look at the squad now. You've got players like Harper, Matt Penny, El Miz. You could throw Kyle Edwards. If there's more players coming in, like Martin said yesterday, we do need to trim the fat now. There has to be players going out the door.
You can't be carrying this season. We cannot be carrying players with injuries the whole time. Like we say, Edwards missed the majority of, what was it, November onwards? He never played again, maybe one game or something. And now he's injured this pre-season. We just can't afford that this year. We need to be cutthroat this year now. Our squad is approached. And if you're not fit, what is it, Martin? What's your line? Your best ability.
Your best ability is availability. And it's right. What have you done for Man lately? And your best ability is availability. And he's injured again, as Mark Rattle said. We don't know how much of a serious injury that is, Rich. We don't know how he got it, if it was part of his recovery process.
Yeah.
But I just think he's a player needs to play football. He needs.
It worries me now because we're less than 2 weeks away now, and he's going to be behind some of these players. Now, you want to be in the mix going into that first game of the season, not playing catch up where you've played not a lot of football. I know you've got a few early cup games where he probably get a go, Matt, and probably Kieran can see how he is. But you've got Harness, Ladapo, Chaplin, Jackson, John Jules, Sonny Aluko, Kyle Edwards. You've got 7 attacking players there. If you bring another one in, which Gab said yesterday, he still thinks we need, someone's in the shake-up. Someone's going to have to move on or be loaned out. They can't all play and they can't all sit on the bench. There's going to be some unhappy people come the 30th of July when Kieran names he's 18. There's going to be 2 or 3 or 4. They're going to be sitting in the stands, aren't they?
I was disappointed we didn't get that Cadden from Forest Green. He went to Barnsley in the end, did he?
Yeah, he did. Barnsley with James Norwood yesterday. Norwood slightly rocked up at Oakwell.
He's got. What did you say, Martin? He's got a year still.
Got a year still. Yeah, it's longer deals from Hertz.
We'll see him. We'll see him on the 27th, James.
Yeah.
We will. Looking forward to that. Yeah.
Well, Cadden is a player that can supply Norwood, so that'd be interesting. But I'd like to have seen him come down. But for whatever reason, he didn't. Maybe he was on the dashboard, but not high enough on it for us to.
Ashley Harris. Edwards isn't like to start anywhere. I disagree with that, Ash. I think if he was going to go out on a loan deal to perhaps a top League 2 side, I think they'd love to have a player of that. He's got ability. It's just if he can stay fit and put it all together. And
I think that could happen. I think you might be right, a loan or something.
He's only young lad. Dobra was. Do you know what I mean? In the sense of he's got that ability at something. You need to now go and harness it. Excuse the pun of Marcus Harness, and find it somewhere and bring it back to Portman Road. And Dobra didn't quite do that. That's now his boys at Chesterfield out of the league.
But you've signed Marcus Harness, Matt, at 26. He's got over 200 league games before. Look, he knows the leagues. He's a player we all know about. You didn't have to think, who's this signing? Marcus Harness, we've seen him play. So, whereas Kyle Edwards, he's not got them games behind him. So you're always going to look at these players who they can do the job. 26, he can improve. He can kick on again, Harness, and he's signed for 3 years with an extra year at the end. So
such a great move.
A player he's got 30 goals in 3 seasons for Pompey. Whereas Kyle Edwards has got that ability, but nothing behind it to back that up yet, Martin.
Yeah, big word in football is trust. Big word in football, trust.
This season, like you just said, we have to be ruthless. We might all like it. Look, I like Kyle Edwards. I think he's really infectious personality. At the end of the day, get out of this league by all means. We cannot be sitting here this time next season debating again. Are we going to get out of the league again? Just get out of it this season by hook or by crook. Be it top 2 playoffs. It don't really matter. We just got to get out of it because it was a 1-year tour. It's year 4 now.
We will. This is a title-winning year. I'm not. Kyle Edwards, love him, infectious character, but I want to see him playing games. I don't think that'll be.
He's done the line before, hasn't he? He went to Exeter, didn't he, when he was at West Brom? So he's been line now.
Particularly, Matt, when obviously I do these shows that speak to a many number of fans, either as contributors or clicking the link, as we're going to speak to 2 more in just a second.
Cool.
I'm often told we need another striker. Well, if you bring another striker in and then another creative player, or even just one of the 2, that Kyle Edwards is certainly further down the pecking order. Because you've got that only 1 or 2 striker options. You've got 4 strikers if you bring another one in. You bring Selena in if you do, or whoever. It's going to be a real tough. And then people say, "Oh, we've got cup games," but how many times do you see those cup games peter out to nothing because the team hasn't got any chemistry? It's just 11 blokes thrown together, just thrown together. You 11 ain't playing. You lot go and play, and you're like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah,
every year's the same. So right, Richard, go on, Matt, finish it off.
Hello, Richard. We've not met before.
Hello.
How you doing?
Oh, well, you were off sick, weren't you?
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Before Rich crunch that his butts in, I never said anywhere that Morsey was as good as Holland. It just isn't something I said.
Go on, Rich.
I said he's our best captain since Holland. There's a big difference. You watch DeVos on the pitch. Yes, he influenced players, but if a game was gone, there wasn't the influence. Last season, games were gone towards the end of the season, and Morsey was still going around the pitch, rollicking players and getting them to perform the way they should perform.
Yeah.
And that didn't matter whether they were having a good game or not. If they made a mistake, they knew about it. And we've not had a captain like that since Holland, is what I meant.
You're fitting well here, Rich. You're fitting well.
I don't disagree. Good captain, Sam Morsey, but I don't think after one season when we finished 11th, you can say that he's our best captain since Matt Holland when we've had...
He didn't play
Luke Chambers. Luke Chambers was a decent captain, led us to the playoffs. Jason DeVos led us to the playoffs.
I'm not having that.
2 years.
No. Can we stop talking about 11th place finishes? Look, can we relegate that? I don't want to hear any more about 11th. 11th, or 9th.
Hey, Richard, how come you're new to the show? We've been going. This is our 3rd season. Where you been?
Well, to be honest, under Lambert, I'd given up.
Did so.
Come on, Mike.
Because it was depressing enough watching any of our football. Listening to us talk about it afterwards was just not something I was interested in doing.
Yeah. We were falling asleep in games.
There's only so many times I can hear about the fact he managed or played in Germany that.
Yeah.
Before you give up.
There's nothing wrong with that, my friends.
And as for McCarthy, if I wanted to watch football, I'd go and watch Saturday football around the park down here rather than.
I've got to say,
hang on. Were you saying that when he got us to the playoffs, though, McCarthy? Because everyone was loving it.
No, we had a great season playing long ball football. And he got us to the playoffs, and we didn't invest at the time we should have invested to go up.
Hang on.
That's
Two
not
things.
Two
things.
First
of all, Duncan Ferro, £20. Thank you very much, Duncan. We look more determined than we ever have in a season. Duncan, we love you. Thank you so much. And that part comment, I've got to kindly go on question because I am doing the highlights for Trimley Red Devils. Go and check it out on their page.
Who won? Goal of the season?
Well, I'll tell you that in a moment. But this, Richard, this ain't no hoofball. The greatest non-league goal ever. Come on.
What's that centre midfielder in red doing?
Don't diss the tackle. Diss the shot. The shot was amazing. That's not a hoofball. That is quality stuff.
I didn't mean that all local football is
hoofball. They do score some great goals. Trimley, some great goals.
Miss some sitters as well. They'll tell you that themselves. They score some tremendous goals.
That's what you see in local football anyway, isn't it? Sitters missed, bad tackles, good passing, bad passing. You see the whole lot.
Yeah, but their highlights are now out. Go and check them out. Link in the chat and the description. Richard, back to what we're talking about today. So it was just a plug, really, Richard. I just wanted to, use what you said as a plug.
So Richard is now used by McKenna. McKenna's brought you back into the fold, has he, Richard? Is that what you're saying?
But to be fair, I will stick up for Cook here in that he did what we needed to happen, which is he got rid of an awful lot of dead wood, and we were never going to start the season strongly last season because you can't bring that many players in and it not have an effect. And it took a while to get going. I think Burns' injury came at exactly the wrong time for Cook because he was missing those games when we were appalling in the cups and he just wasn't. And he needed that outlet. But but McKenna is clearly a very, very talented coach, and we've just got to try and stay hold of him.
I tell you what, Richard, I sat on this platform and said Paul Cook's going to be a great manager for Ipswich Town. He made me look a bloody idiot.
Well, you do that yourself quite often. You need me help.
I met Cook away at Wickham because I happened to work with a company who got me in one of their boxes for their game.
Yeah.
And it was next to the tunnel. So he came in and said hello to me before the game. And then after the game, you couldn't have seen someone happier and more excited by football than that man.
Did you?
And that was about what it was to be a manager for him.
Did you compare hairstyles?
There was a comment made when there was a photo of me next to him.
Was there really a comment made? Sorry, Richard. Sorry. I just thought. Hang on, he was. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Sam Morsey, talk to me about him a moment, because there's lots of chat in social media. We've had a chat about him today. Do you want to see more from him next year? Did he do enough for you? You called him a good captain, but playing ability, where was it for you?
I think he's clearly got loads about him, and I think having a really top-class player or player playing really well in form next to him is going to make a big difference. And whether that's Evans, who I think is actually a better player than a lot of fans give him credit for, or Ball, who looks like a unit, and
It does.
It looks like if you have Ball, alongside Morsey might be given more reign to go forward. I mean, he scored 2 yesterday, didn't he? I think looking at his stats, I think he scored like 6 in the last 6 seasons or something combined, and he's already got 2 in pre-season. And I know it's only pre-season, but he wouldn't have got forward.
Well,
but he wouldn't have got forward.
Yeah, and if your set piece goal counts, then they count as well. You know, they're all considered. But
don't count in your career stats at the end, Martin. How many goals you scored in friendlies?
Well, no, but we're going to get.
Unless you play for England.
We're going to get a lot more of those next year, Richard. Don't you worry about him. He'll get double figures. He says famously.
I think there'll be 6 or 7 players that get double figures next season.
Wow.
I think
Who are they?
100 points.
400 goals here, boys. 4th season.
100 goals, 100 points.
I agree with you.
I think 80 odd goals gets you 80 odd points, and I think that's where we'll be next season. Like I said yesterday, I think we'll finish second, and I don't think it'll be as high.
Who's the 6 or 7 players? Come on.
Burns, Ladapo, Chaplin,
3.
Morsey,
4.
Wolfenden.
Hey,
maybe Ball.
Hang on, rewind.
Big
You said
shout.
Wolfenden's going to get 10 goals.
Big shout. Love that.
I think either Wolfie on his own or the central defence.
No, don't backtrack.
We'll get a dozen or more.
Backtrack, Richard.
No.
How many did our defenders get last season?
I'll have a bet with you now that Wolfenden will not score 10 goals and Don Ball will not score 10 goals. 50 quid and it goes towards the show.
Oh, no.
Don't put people on the spot here, can't you?
No. No, I'm with Richard. I'm with Richard. I think Wolfie will get a good number.
I'll bet you 50 quid that 7 players get 10 goals or more.
Boom. Love that.
Well, then I'll take that.
Oh, there you go.
Well, look at that little
actually, not 50 quid, a shirt, next season shirt.
All right, fine.
You just cost yourself 8 quid there, Richard, because it's 58 quid for a shirt these days.
49 this season.
49? Fucking hell, 49.
So you're going to go 23-24 shirt is what you're saying, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And then you can give it to someone on the show, but it'll be Crunch giving it anyway, so it's fine.
It will be, because he's always wrong. Ask about Joe Piggott and about.
I know he wants 7% success rate or something, wasn't it?
7? It ain't that high. It ain't that high. He wishes it was 7.
Certainly, I agree in the fact that the defence needs to score more goals from set pieces, because like you used to have Berra and Smith. We always look like.
Hang on, this is coming from Matt, who said that them immortal words. Kane Vincent-Young will score 10 goals this season.
I did say that. But now McKenna's seeing the potential he's got, because he's now playing him on the right wing. Yeah. I was ahead of my time, Richard, you see. This is the thing.
I'm amazed that Richard didn't say Raheem the Dream would get double figures, to be honest with you. I feel that's the way.
I thought I was giving you a heart attack yesterday when I said I thought he'd be gone. So I don't.
I think that's blasphemy, man.
I
Raheem
do
the Dream.
think,
He's ready.
I think McKenna does like Harper because while the Palace TV thing was just the static camera above the dugouts yesterday, you keep coming over to him and giving him a little pat and having a little chat with him and all that. So I think there's a little bit of game recognises game there, maybe.
Absolutely. See, me and McKenna, same wavelength. Not to worry you all out there, but me and McKenna are on the same wavelength. All right. You can expect Raheem the Dream to be a pivot in midfield this year. Before we go on.
Before Richard does go, so if we're going to finish second, Richard, who do you think's going to be the champions?
Wednesday.
Chef Wednesday.
I think providing they keep Barry Bannon beyond January.
Yep. What about Derby?
That'd be quite nice if we went and signed him and do what we did to Huddersfield when we got Stewart off them.
Yeah.
Go and get their best player in the January.
Yeah. I hope you're right. Top two. I mean, I don't want to be pissing about with playoffs or anything like that, particularly. Too many variables.
You won't have to.
You have a bad performance in the playoffs and you're done, aren't you? And it's
as Oxford have proved before. Yeah, absolutely.
100 points, 100 goals. Wolverhampton
like
get
that.
12 of them. Love it. Richard, thank you.
I never said any of those things.
No, I've just said them. It's me. I'm saying them. I'm backing you up. I'm with you. I'm with you on the Wolfenden double figures. I really am. I truly believe that. I think he's going to get some good goals next year from set pieces.
He scored about 2 goals in his town career. Is he going to go prime Paul Warhurst, Matt? Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
Yeah.
He
was Sheffield Wednesday, wasn't he? He was Sheffield Wednesday.
They played him up front, so maybe we're going to play Wolfenden up front then, Rich.
It'll be like Ian Marshall. He'll go up front or go back. He'll go up front or go back.
Ollie Hawkins.
You brought that right. You brought that right down. Right, Richard. Appearance number 2 in the bag. We love you.
Good to
Make
meet
it
you.
number 3 soon. We beg.
Cheers.
Look after yourself. Craig at Portsmouth, I'd back, given game time, Humphrey to have more goals or assists than Aluko.
But we didn't even mention him in them front players.
No, we wouldn't.
I disappeared for a week and you got new people on. It's good. Good to see.
Yeah, better people. Well, better than you.
It's a big statement, that though. 7 players scoring 10 or more goals, Matt.
He fits in well here, doesn't he? Big statement.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a big statement. Yeah. Well, look, there's nothing wrong with having that ambition. Absolutely. If that comes true, we will be top 2. Absolutely.
Oh, we're going to be top 2. 100 points, 100 goals. Can you believe?
Again, we asked that question a while back. Has anyone actually ever done 100 points, 100 goals? I think Reading come close, didn't they?
Reading got over 100, didn't they? They did get over 100 points.
99 goals, I think it was.
Yeah, I don't think they got 100 goals.
What made me laugh was they had Steve Coppola's as manager. He was one of the most dour, uncharismatic people you could ever meet. Yet his team was on fire.
If you've got a good team, you're going to win. You're going to win the league. That's where the best squad in the League One argument sort of falls itself down.
You said that about McKenna, Matt, that his interviews are quite bland.
Yeah, he does come over a bit dour, doesn't he? Yeah. But
just how he is.
Just how he is. Yeah, I like to be entertained a little bit, but it is what it is.
Don't get too high. Don't get too low.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't go into the realms of having 2-tone voices.
That's not going to happen with Kieran McKenna. I can assure you of that.
Or drinking coffee on the sideline, because you weren't a big fan of that either, were you?
That was the end for me when he brought that coffee out. I just couldn't believe what I was saying.
Yeah.
I've been talking about having your mind on the go. We're in the 90 minutes here. I've got to channel it. I've got a coffee on the go as if I've just been down Costa.
It would have only been. It would have only worked if he was having one of them TT mugs that we do supply at the merch store.
We do in the merch store there at shop.talkingtown.co.uk.
I'm going to get some gear. I'm going to get some gear this season.
It's top quality. James Hobson, I so want Aluko to bag a bunch. Norwood came out and said he's one of the best at town.
Why wouldn't you not want Aluko to bag a bunch? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Chris Boyd loves the fact that Richard was sticking it to the cruncher.
Well, he's not really stuck it up me. He's just claimed that 7 players are going to score 10 or more goals. We will see.
And I think
we will see.
Mike Deers, McKenna giving out signed photos in a bum bag.
He did. He did also mention there that Dominic Baldwin scored 10 goals. He did say,
well, we're all allowed a rookie mistake in the early part of our Talking Town career. We're all allowed a mistake.
Well, I've made loads, and I'm still making them today. Don't worry about it.
What mistake did I make? I didn't make any mistakes.
We won't go where your mistakes go, Matthew. There's no need to go anywhere near them.
Oh, I had a lovely McDonald's yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah,
drive through.
Yeah, beautiful.
Right. Joshua Waters asks, do you reckon we'll sign another striker? Stephen Parry, what is your answer to Joshua Waters?
Long time no
Good
see.
evening, guys. Well, good evening, good afternoon. I think it's the heat
Yeah.
doing me in. Yeah.
What's the temperature up north? What's it like up there?
Temperature is 26.
Ooh.
So
I'm
expect
coming
to
up
get.
all the way Friday. I'm coming up to Manchester Friday, Steve.
I was on the pot last night, so I'm a bit delicate this morning. So.
Is that big coat weather up north, 26, or is that not big coat weather?
No, it's t-shirt weather. We really get big coat
Right.
weather when it gets to like 24. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Sorry. So t-shirt. Wow, it is hot then.
We're a bit like Costa del Sol up here. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'm fed up of people turning around to me and saying, "Oh, it's hot. We're all going to die." I'm thinking, no, it's a bit hot weather. Why do we fly to Bali and places like that if we're all going to die? You know,
We're all eventually going to die, Steve.
Everyone's going to Dubai in November when it's like 40 degrees.
I know.
And we're going to die at 30.
But you do have a pool to jump into, Steve.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't know. I'll get a paddling pool. I'll dive in that.
I tell you what doesn't help, Steve, is like back in the day. Remember in the weather they used to stick the clouds on, didn't they? Or the sun.
Oh, I love that, man.
Yeah, well, I saw one this morning. It was a contrast from one from about 20 years ago and one from today. Like 20 years with like little smiley suns, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and now
35 degrees. It's just like big dark red.
Big red, yeah.
Country's just been covered in blood. You know what I mean?
That's exactly the same.
I will just say that image has been proven to be a fake.
It's true though. I was watching the weather 20 years ago. It's not as dire as what it is now.
Oh no, I'm not disputing, but the dark red country that you've seen, that's
You know what I say, Matt? Bring back Michael Fish.
Yeah, I remember Michael Fish. It was a
Don't
great
worry,
one.
there's not a hurricane coming.
No.
Next
Except the one who forgot there was no hurricane and then went knackered, you know. And he still didn't get sacked.
Yeah.
Talking,
Anyway,
striker. Joshua Ward's this question.
Do I think we'll get another? Yes, I do. Do I think Edwards will go out on loan? I think it's highly likely. It's not because he's not got talent. He's got more than enough talent.
Absolutely,
He needs to play. And with the likes of Harness coming in, maybe I would say another striker will come in. You know, Edwards is Jackson, I think, is doing well. And I think Richard has a good point. I can easily pick out potentially 6 or 7 players who could get 10 goals quite easily. You know, I listed about 5 in the chat. You know, you could quite easily pick out 6 or 7 players who could potentially get 10 goals.
I could quite easily win the lottery, but I don't buy a ticket.
Well, yeah, but that's just being negative, isn't it? You know, at the end of the day, Harness has had 10 goals in the last 3 years. You know, so
how many players, right? Wigan got promoted last season.
Yeah.
How many players hit double figures for Wigan? There's a question.
Not many. Not a lot. Because they spread it around.
But
they did have a main goal scorer. That's the point.
I think Callum Lang got about 17.
People are talking about we need to have a 20-goal season striker. It would help. It would be nice. But if you're 20, the person you've got for a 20-goal season striker gets injured, then he's waste of money, isn't he? If you've got more than one player who can get a goal, you're not relying on that one player. You know, last year we were relying on Bon. And then as soon as Bon stopped, we had nothing. Because we didn't have anyone behind him to back him up. You know, and then Burns took on the mantle, you know, and then we were relying on Burns. And then they nullified Burns. We had nothing. You know, what I can see he's trying to build is he's trying to build a group of players who can score.
Good man, Josh.
You know what I mean? I honestly think if we could get a 20-goal season striker, no problem. I'd love it. You don't know you're going to get one. If they're a guaranteed 20-goal season striker, they ain't in League One. So you've got to take a gamble on someone. Do I think George Hurst could get 20 goals? Of course I do. Did he have a slow start to Portsmouth? Yes, he did. But so did, Bon had a poor end. Which one do you prefer? I'd rather the better end than the poor start than the poor end. You know what I mean? Because it just looks better. I think we could get a 20-goal season striker over the line, or potential 20-goal season striker. We'd need to go up, or he wouldn't be here long enough for us to see him again. Yeah. But the top and bottom of it is we've got to have possibilities of Morsey getting 10 goals. We've got to have Chaplin getting 10 goals. We've got to have Harness getting 10 goals. Jackson chipping in. Ladapo chipping in. Burns chipping in. Even the left wing back chipping in. I'm not overly fussed with whether the defender's chipping because it's a rarity a defender even gets. Doesn't get a
question for you, Stephen. I've got a question for you. So we're probably going to play one striker, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a George Hurst, why would you come to town when you've got Ladapo, you've got Caden Jackson, and you've already got John Jules, and you might not be that number one striker? Because we found that last season with Joe Pigott. He came.
I get that. And that's a point. That's a point that's been made a lot. But I look at it in another way. Would Ladapo be main striker above George Hurst? Probably not. At the end of the day, George Hurst would have been bought for £2 million. You don't pay £2 million for somebody in the sea sitting on the bench. We're having this free guy. You know, it all depends on the conversations that's been had with the players when they've arrived. You know, we're not privy to those. We're not privy to what Ladapo what we told Ladapo when he come. Has he been told he's going to be number one? Has he been told he's going to fight for the number one? Has he been told he's going to be a backup option? You know, and that goes into another thing. It goes to formations as well. There's no guarantee we're going to stick to a particular formation. I hear a lot of people like Fisher say we've got to play two up front. I don't think we're going to be rigid to a formation. It'll be like 11 players and they'll move around in different formations throughout a game or for different games. Yeah. And there will be times we'll play two up front. There will be times we'll play three up front. I think there'll be times we'll play four at the back. I think it's going to be fluid depending on who we play and how the game's evolving. And that's where I think everyone's going to be involved. And that's why I'm saying like Edwards might go out on loan, because we've got like TJJ, we've got like Harness in there who could play that same role that Edwards would play. You know, Harness could play the Burns role if Burns ever gets injured or goes to the World Cup. I
don't think we'll change from playing three at the back all season, Stephen. I think that's what McKenna wants to play. I know Mike D doesn't agree. I think we'll play them three centre-backs all season because...
I think we will. I think
that benefits Luke Wolfenden with three at the back. He doesn't play that well in a two, as far as I'm concerned. He plays better in a three.
I get your point. I understand. I think the majority of the games, if not most of the games, probably will start 3-4-3. But during the game, we may change to a four at the back and put an extra striker on if we need to get a goal. You know, there's always... And that's where I think people are trying to tie us down to a certain formation. And you can see from the friendlies, he's played a variety. I know that's probably because he got the players, but I think he's trying to look at different formations to see who's the best were and what we can do and what it looks like and how they stick to the principles. Because he needs that. Everyone's saying we need a plan A, B, and C or whatever. Well, these are our plan A, B, and C's, but they can be fluid. These players can be adapted into a different style, a different formation during in-game, which we've not seen for a long time. And to me, that's like Premiership sort of thing. You know, that's the way Premiership teams deal with opponents. If they're struggling, they'll just virtually keep the same players and just change everybody around. You know, we've not seen that, and we've not seen that for a long time. I find it encouraging. I think I still say it. We're in a better place now than where we were at the start or the end of last season, based on players coming back from injury. I've caveated this down. Players coming back from injury and the players we've got in the building and the potential players that are about to come. I still think there's at least another two to come in. Yeah. Whether that's a left wing back, I'm not convinced we need one. I think Greg Lee's good enough, at least to start, and then we'll see if we need one. We've got until September. He'll probably get August to see how he does. If he does all right, we might not go and get somebody else. But if someone pops up like Leif Davis, club might say, well, we'll get him anyway. But that'll be something that drags into end of August. You know, I do think we need another striker. I don't know whether it would be Hurst. You know, they say Blackburn's in for Hurst. I think that'd be a poor mistake because Blackburn's looking to get rid of Diaz. You know, he's not gonna go to Blackburn and be the replacement for Diaz. That's way too much pressure on him. If I were Brendan Rodgers, I'd be saying to him, go there, get promoted with them, and then have a go at the Championship. That would be the best move for him. Going straight into the Championship from an average League One season, for me, would not, at 23, would not be good progression for a player. Because if he struggles in the Championship, he could end up being League Two.
I see your point, but I'm not sure many representatives of the player would maybe concur with that point, because the Championship, every player believes in their own ability. That's the most important thing as a player. You believe in your own ability to succeed.
Are they actively trying to sell Hurst then, Leicester?
He's only got a year left.
He's 20
year on his contract.
Everybody knows he's not going to get anywhere near Leicester side. You know, he didn't go on the pre-season tour. There's younger players gone on the pre-season tour. You know, I think the writing's on the wall for him at 23.
Yeah,
sounds if he was like 2021, you could argue he's got a bit more time. At 23, they're looking to find a route where to get you, to get you out. And if they can get any money for him now, because they'll get nothing for him next year, it's going to be now. So there's an opportunity. I like him. I think he's the sort of player we need. He's got good height. He's good in the air. You know, just in case some corners or free kicks do actually get into the box. You know, we've got people like him and Don Ball who can get on the ball as we saw yesterday. So I think there's a lot more to look at it. You know, and I think comparing us to Blackburn, can they pay more wages? Probably a little bit. I'm just wondering whether Brendan Rodgers will say into his ear, is that the best move for you? His agent will say differently, of course, but I think he trusts Brendan Rodgers and I think he listens to him. And Brendan Rodgers was, CEO, Mark Ashton was Brendan Rodgers' CEO at Watford. So there is probably his conversation, and I think the top and bottom of it is, it's like, would it be better for his development? I would say for now, yes, it would. Not trying to be biased as an Ipswich fan. If he goes to Blackburn, there's a lot more pressure on him especially if Diaz goes. Diaz stays at Blackburn, there's an argument that he could play with Diaz. But it's looking like Leeds want Diaz. If Diaz goes, he's going to go in there as the main striker, and I think that's a lot of pressure for a young lad.
Good point.
I like your thinking there, Steve, on the Brendan Rodgers-Ashton connection.
It was Google.
See, this platform is so much more richer for people like Stephen Parry. Stephen, we're so pleased you got your wife's laptop fixed.
So am I, actually. So am I. The amount of points that was going on, I was dying to get on, but I thought, I'm not coming on because my camera is absolutely awful. So I thought, I'll wait till wife's is fixed and then I can come back on. Even though I'm an ugly son and it scares people, but it's always a treat, especially come around Halloween time.
Stephen,
he got his laptop fixed quicker than he got that smoke alarm fixed.
He did, but not many people can boast of having an account dedicated to replicating themselves. Stephen's got a doppelganger account, haven't you, Stephen?
I don't know where that came from. I must be like famous now. I've got myself a parody account.
You're huge, mate. Huge. We are
using such long tweets, because if you don't use such long tweets, people make mistakes and they read it wrong. So I like to put context in there, and like sometimes it's not enough characters, so I have to do another page. You know what I mean? I know people just like to put. I know people just like to put a little tweet out and say, "There's nothing more when you put loads of it." But if you don't put the context behind it, people misread it and misrepresent it, and that's where you start having problems, especially on Twitter. That's why I like it.
It's a question for you then, Steve. So you're all in on Hurst. Bond now out of the picture? He's still at QPR, isn't he?
I'd take him. If Hurst didn't happen, I'd still take Bond.
It'd be your big option.
Ladapo then would be the main option. He would be the main starter. Yeah, because he's more consistent. And I do think Hurst is a better striker than. But then it goes back to my point. Would it be we have a first team striker, or would it be like last season where Ladapo starts one game, Hurst comes on as a substitute. The following game, Hurst starts, and Ladapo comes as a substitute. We just don't know. It all depends on the conversations that McKenna's had with the players. And without that, we're just like fumbling around in the dark. I'd like to think it'd be a little bit more fluid, especially with some of the other players we've got. I heard John Jules played well yesterday. I didn't see it, but I heard he played well yesterday. And I do actually like him. And he could be a good number. I don't actually see, but I know ADT said we're silly. I don't think Bursett Salim is going to happen. I really don't. I think we've got too many people who can play in that role now. Jackson could play there at a push. TJJ could play there at a push. Harness could play there at a push. Harness could play there. Chaplin could play there. Aluko can play there. Even Humphries can play there. We've got 6 people for 2 spots. I just see it happening. I really
Steve,
do.
I've got to read you what Carl's just put. When he first watched the pod, he thought Steve was actually Pete
Winkleman on a guest appearance. MK Don special.
Yeah, well, I'm not big on franchise FC, so we won't go down that route.
Just because you mentioned Bond there, I did see Michael Beale say he's a well-liked boy about Macaulay Bonne in the changing room. This pre-season he's played well, and I thought was good in the first half. This is over there friendly. He's looking strong to be a support or fight it out with Linden for that number 9 position. So he's firmly in the thoughts at Queen's Park Raisins. So
I still wonder whether some of that is Michael Beale walking back Macaulay Bonne's comments, because that was incredibly courageous for we all know it's true. And Michael Beale knows it's true. He can try and walk it back as much as he like. Everyone knows it's true, but it was I find it was dodgy, especially for an under contract player. The backlash you're going to get.
You say that.
It would have been nice, though. It would have been nice if the actual journalist did put all the.
Well, he did. No, he's repeated it again. All what I would say is, I wasn't in the room. I don't know, but what I would say,
I like the EADT to
What I would say is as a quick temperature test of that comment, Steve, the replies, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 replies that I can see. 2, possibly 3 are saying as long as he wants to be here, so it wasn't well received.
Point. At the end of the day, I don't think Bond's the number one guy we need, and he's going to be the one that goes all season. He's one of those players, and you've seen that at QPR. He comes in, he'll do well, and he'll drift out. Yeah, he needs more, and we didn't have that last season. Jackson wasn't performing last season, and then when he came in, he started working well, and then he got injured, so we lost him again. Norwood was his usual, Zen diagram up and down every other game, so he didn't really have that support. And Piggott he had his troubles, but I don't think he ever suited the way we wanted to play anyway, and I said that right from the off. I'd have rather have gone for Charlie White myself, but that was just me. But would he have got injured if he came here? We don't know.
Bond's only scored 3 goals in 35 appearances for QPR.
Oh yeah, he's very. But they come in patches, and most of his best work comes in pre-season, surprisingly enough, which is interesting because he's doing well.
Funny?
He does well in pre-season. That's what keeps him at the club most of the time. Yeah. But the top and bottom of it is, I think there's a role for him, not as first choice. If we don't get someone like Hurst or the other guy who people said we were interested in from Blackpool, what's his
Jerry
name?
Yates.
Jerry Yates. If we don't get someone like that, yeah, I can see us revisiting Bond. But it won't be as Bond coming in for the main guy. It'll be one of 3, him, Jackson, and Ladapo, and they'll move around. And if someone gets a hot streak, they'll stay in. If Ladapo gets a hot streak, he'll stay in. A bit like Bond did last season. It's just we didn't have anybody else to come in afterwards who got on a hot streak. It was he had his hot streak, he stopped his hot streak, and then we were fidgeting in the dark looking for someone who could have a hot streak. I don't think we've got that because we've got other players. I think now we've got other players around. With Balder puts Morsey forward. Morsey can get the odd goal here, and the Chaplin can get a goal. He ended up.
Will Morsey get 10 goals though, Stephen, this season?
Potentially, if he's allowed to stay in the position that he's got.
Yes or no? Don't want potential. I want yes or no answer.
Yeah, well, that's unfair, isn't it? Because everything's potential. I would say yes. If he's allowed to stay in that attacking role, and Ball staying behind him. If you end up with Evans and Morsey, Morsey and Evans, no, because he hasn't got the confidence to go forward, knowing that Evans is there. With Ball, I think he does.
Will Luke Wolfenden get 10 goals?
No.
Oh, well, I think he will. I think he will.
Just messaged me and he says if Wolfenden scores 10 goals, I'll get a Delia Smith tattooed on my arse cheek.
Yeah, well, we're still with the last person to get the tattoo on the arse cheek, so I'm not holding my breath on that one either.
I don't think any of our defenders they'll be looking at 5 goals.
It's funny when you think back. It's funny when you think back to the breakout season of Murphy, the 27 goals. We actually only made the playoffs because Derby buggered it up against Reading, didn't they?
But the point is, everybody looks like the only reason we got any, we would have been below mid-table if it wasn't Murphy. Come on, let's all be we're not a good side. We just had a good goal scorer, and we were tight at the back, and that's basically football. If you're tight at the back and you've got someone who can score goals, you're going to win. End up. You don't need a great side.
Yeah. Talking of end of,
the reason why we won't get more than 5 goals for defenders, we still haven't got a set piece taker.
Yeah, well, we can, and we'll address that hopefully as the club addresses it through the summer. We can do a transfer talk on a set piece specialist, but literally, I'm going to have to be winched off this chair. I'm stuck to it. I'm that hot and sweaty. I don't know how I'm going to get up.
You're going to have to do an outside broadcast one of these days. You know what I mean? Then you don't have to stay in the office.
I was thinking about it today. I really was. But Stephen, as people have said, constantly talk sense.
Look after yourself.
Good guy. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. You've raised the intelligent debate level by 10 at least.
Good points.
But we'll go back to you two now. Sad as that is. Once Richard stopped picking on the new boys, that's just.
If you have a big opinion, I'm coming for you.
I'm with him. I'm with him. I stand with him.
You reckon Luke will take that?
Luke? Yeah, I do.
No,
I also think Raheem Harper was.
Where are those goals going to come from? Wolfenden's 10 goals. Where are they going to come from? Don't tell me set pieces. We haven't scored us. Other than yesterday, we haven't scored a set piece in about 10 years.
We're not going to score from 4 sharp by the byline, is he? They're going to come inside the 18-yard box, Matthew.
We'll see. We will.
We will.
Well, look, if he does score 10, happy days. Means the club are doing well.
You two will be sat here in the season going, "Oh, I'm so happy. Yes, I don't really care." And I'll be saying, "Yeah, well, Richard Chandler, Murphy had one of his great seasons, never to be repeated, and that was the only reason we made the playoffs. Took him 4 years, though, didn't it? Left midfield for 3 of them, and then we found his position, and voila. Because you could say he played out of position.
7 goals for Town in his three.
Was it 3 or 4 spells?
He was on loan twice, wasn't he? And then he signed.
But loaned as a left winger.
Yeah,
it does to me feel like we will get another strike. I'm right in thinking it's John Jules, Jackson, and Ladapo, the 3 at the moment.
Yeah.
I missed anyone out. Right? Now Piggott's gone. That does feel like if Ladapo got injured, we're looking a bit lightweight now. So it does feel like that another name's going to be involved there somewhere. Who that might be? Whether or not it's going to be that Hurst, I don't know.
There we go. Right, we're back tomorrow night, 8:30. We have got Hawks and George with us. We're back tonight at 8 p.m. Moss.
9
p.m. 9 p.m. Even better. Even better. 9 p.m. for Talking Cricket.
It'll be boiling then. It'll still be boiling.
It will be. The Josh Butler era begins, correct?
It's not going that well so far.
No. Well, that's not down to me. But you titled the show, so I'm just repeating back to you what you've told me. So join us then, 9 p.m. I know Craig at Portsmouth will be. Big cricket fan. If you're into cricket, join us then. But if not, tomorrow, F1 7:15, and we've got George and Hawks at extra time at 8:30.
Great stuff.
Matt, go and rest your voice. Rich, go and save your money. Or you could just go Ipswich Buses and you'll save us. Ipswich Buses, your local bus company. Don't get stuck in traffic. Ditch the car. Go green. Go contactless. Go Ipswich Buses. Fares available from £2.20 return, a fantastic price and a fantastic service. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town.
You make me smile when I think of you.